Segment 1. This film is said to be scarier than The Wailing, which is based on a horror comic. Segment 2. Adapted by Hertz, it has been released and alters views on possession. The adaptation is intense. Tag your gullible friend to watch it with you. The story starts in a remote village where a shaman performs an exorcism. The door behind her suddenly opens. Confident, she rushes in without hesitation, and it slams shut behind her. Amidst the villagers' confusion, a scream echoes. They cautiously enter the house to find a horrifying sight. The shaman, with blood-red eyes and a twisted body, hangs dead from the beam. This cursed house is where a woman hanged herself. It said she slipped accidentally, and her death was horrifying. 4 years later, a group of college students intrigued by paranormal events investigates a cursed house. They think that when a person's brainwave frequency hits 0 MHz, it can attract spirits. To verify this, they plan a trip to the cursed house. On the way, they stop at a convenience store. While waiting outside, Nervous Girl spots a girl with bloodied legs and follows her in. However, there's no trace of her inside the store. As they leave, Nervous Girl glances back and sees the girl standing next to the store manager. The group then treks through a dense forest and finally finds the legendary cursed house. Having been abandoned for years, it's now in ruins. Everyone is unusually excited, feeling the trip was worth it. They start exploring the house with flashlights, but Nervous Girl looks tense and uneasy. Soon, she seems to be drawn by some force to a ritual circle, sensing something approaching her. After returning, she sits weakly to the side. Her companions think she's just tired. As night falls, they start setting up Segment 4, the scene for a ritual to summon evil spirits. They bring 2 dolls. One is hung from the beam to provoke the spirit, and the other serves as a vessel for possession. Finally, Ah Shang puts on a brainwave receiver and lies down where the woman committed suicide. Once everything is ready, they begin chanting an incantation. Ah Zhang's body starts convulsing, resembling possession. Seeing something's wrong, they rush to check on her, only to find out she was just playing a prank. However, she doesn't realize her actions have angered the spirit. Later that night, as lightning flashes and thunder roars, Nervous Girl feels tense. Suddenly, a hand covers her mouth, telling her that someone is outside. It's the old lady Nervous Girl met earlier. Ah Dai, nearby, can't see her. Meanwhile, Ah Chang at the computer sees Ah Zhang's brainwaves drop to 0. Segment 5. Megahertz. Segment 6. Ah Chang attempts to intervene, but the figure's sudden turn nearly frightens him to death. He quickly alerts the others about Ah Zhang's state. They find her in the woodshed. Just as they arrive, Ah Shang starts crawling into the stove pit in a bizarre manner. Ah Wei rushes to grab her legs, barely pulling her out, only to find her face covered in hair. Terrified, they hesitate to approach, watching as Ah Shang is dragged into. Segment 7. The Stove Pit. Segment 8. Ah Chang wants to call the police but discovers the director's script states there's no phone signal. They return to the woodshed to drink. In the dark, countless strands of hair spread over Ah Zhang's body. In a moment of crisis, they smash the stove and pull her out. Knowing they can't stay, they prepare to leave overnight. Suddenly, Nervous Girl insists on burning the dolls in the room. Ah Shang returns but ignores Nervous Girl's advice, throwing the dolls into the stove pit instead. She is later taken to the hospital. They thought it was over, but it was just the beginning. The next day, Ah Chang visits the hospital and, seeing the comatose Ah Shang, has sinister thoughts. Ah Shang opens her pale eyes, hair spilling from her mouth and strangling Ah Chang. Since then, her spirit often possesses her. She lures her boyfriend, Ah Wei, into a fatal car accident, then tricks Ah Dai into suicide. Nervous Girl arrives just in time to save her. Ah Shang, seeing the 2 cold bodies, can't recall what occurred. The spirit possesses her only in sleep. Seeing chaos, Nervous Girl confides in her friends. She descends from shamans and can see spirits. The old lady was her grandmother's spirit, watching over her. Nervous Girl says the only way to survive is to send the spirit back and perform an exorcism. Soon, the three return to the cursed house. Before the exorcism, Nervous Girl tells Ah Wei not to enter, no matter what he hears. Finally, she sits beside Ah Shang and begins chanting. Her grandmother appears. When the brainwaves hit 0, segment 10, megahertz, she possesses Nervous Girl. From the start, she knew Ah Shang was possessed. Her grandmother tries to persuade the spirit to leave, but it refuses, saying it's not done playing. Seeing the spirit disobedient, her grandmother uses mugwort to drive it out. Ah Shang screams as white smoke rises from her body. During the struggle, the spirit accidentally knocks over a fire pit, causing her grandmother's spirit to leave Nervous Girl's body. A gust of wind sweeps through, plunging the room into darkness. Nervous Girl, with a flashlight, finds the spirit sitting in the corner, then twists its head. Segment 11, 180 degrees. Segment 12. Strange noises catch Ah Dai's attention. He opens the door to find Nervous Girl strangling her brother with a sinister smile. Angry, Ah Dai rushes in and pins Nervous Girl. Suddenly, Ah Zheng's body twists, and a head appears from her mouth. When Ah Dai snaps out of the illusion, the spirit reveals its true form with a pixelated smile. Ah Shang returns to normal, and they rush outside. But Ah Dai is a step too slow and gets dragged into the room by the spirit, then taken to the stove pit. Luckily, Ah Wei finds a doll Ah Chang through there. He uses all his strength to light a turkey, and as the doll ignites, flames engulf the tunnel. Nervous Girl screams. A hand on her shoulder reveals Ah Dai, who survived. The three finally leave segment 13, the cursed house. Months later, Nervous Girl and Ah Dai become a couple. While Ah Dai takes a call outside, Nervous Girl finds a strange video on her computer. She clicks it and sees someone identical to Ah Dai trapped in the tunnel. Like everyone watching, she realizes something terrifying. That's today's story. See you next time.